One boy walks barefoot through a world of dust and struggle. Every step cuts, every fall tests his spirit. But George carries a spark, a dream to light up the darkness. From broken scraps to a lamp that could change everything. This is the story of courage, hope, and never giving up. Will his light shine or fade before it begins? Now, let's watch my story.
Before sunrise, George sat barefoot outside his small house while the cold morning air brushed against his skin. The sky slowly turned orange as he stood up and picked up his worn school bag. He stepped onto the rough dirt road, sharp stones pressing into his bare feet. A small rock cut his heel, but he kept walking without saying a word. By the time he reached school, his clothes were dusty, but his eyes were filled with hope. That evening, his mother came home exhausted after selling sweet potatoes at the local. As night fell, their house faded into darkness. George watched her count a few crumpled bills and coins with tired hands. In that dim light, he made a quiet promise to bring brightness into their lives. The next day, he searched through piles of trash for broken radios and old batteries. He carried the scrap parts home like they were priceless treasure. That night, he built his first lamp using a cracked glass jar. When he connected the battery, smoke suddenly rose. A piece of paper on the table caught fire, and fear flashed across his face. Even after that failure, he refused to throw the broken lamp away. His second lamp flickered weakly before going dark. The third lamp shattered on the morning of the science fair. At school, some kids laughed and made fun of his dream. He lowered his eyes but refused to let the dream die inside him. That night, he walked into the old electrician's small workshop. The old man looked at him kindly and said, "If you want to learn, don't ever stop trying." Slowly, hope returned to George's tired heart. The next day, the principal announced that a local businessman would reward a young inventor with the best idea. Maya leaned closer and whispered, "This is your chance." That night, George worked harder than ever. He carefully connected each copper wire and secured the small solar panel on top. Hours passed as the candle beside him burned lower and lower. Suddenly the lamp turned on with a steady, warm glow. He waited nervously as an hour passed, but the light stayed strong. By morning, he knew he had finally done it. George gently wiped the dust from his finished solar lamp and placed it inside a worn cardboard box. Holding the box tightly against his chest, he walked to school with nervous but determined steps. A sleek black car pulled up outside the school. The businessman stepped out in a sharp, dark suit, his gold watch catching the sunlight. Inside the classroom, cameras were set up and judges arranged their papers on a long table. One by one, students proudly presented drawings, model cars, and colorful projects. When his name was called, George slowly stood up. His hands trembled slightly as he walked to the front, hearing his heartbeat pound in his ears. Carefully, he placed the solar lamp on the table. He took a deep breath and switched it on. A warm golden light filled the classroom, gently touching every face in the room. For a moment, everything went silent. The businessman stepped forward and asked calmly, "Where did you get the parts for this?" George looked up and answered softly, "From the trash, sir." The businessman looked at the lamp again. And this time, he didn't see trash. He saw talent. A proud smile slowly spread across his face. "This," he said clearly, "is exactly what we've been looking for." The classroom erupted into applause and excited cheers. In the back of the room, George's mother wiped tears from her eyes as she watched her son shine. Weeks later, homes across the small town glowed warmly at night because of George's solar lamps. And as George stood outside under the stars holding one of his lamps, he understood something important. Success belongs to those who refuse to give up.
Remember one thing in life, never give up. Just try, because your hard work is the key of your success. And don't forget to like and subscribe our channel for more interesting stories.